I think it makes sense to me. So Crowder's format, and Crowder's got a really good format also, but his is a talk show format. You know, he's got an hour and a half or a 2 hour show he does every day. That is a, you know, understanding what that's like. That's a lot of work, especially to do as good of a job as Crowder does. I mean, because he gets on a subject, they get on it for a while, they bat it up back and forth, similar to what Tim Pool does. Then they go to a different subject. The difference is that Crowder stays on all the time. Now, having said that, Crowder does, I think they will edit their segments into smaller pieces down the road a ways. Or maybe even after a few hours, because there are times when I'll watch Crowder and it's like a 20 or a 30-minute piece or something like that. But his pieces are typically longer than Tim Pool's. So, well, his whole premise is like I said, one continual show. And really, I guess that the good way or the best way to watch Crowder would be to get onto Rumble and watch Crowder, get off of YouTube. Because YouTube does censor channels. They're pretty bad about that. I mean, my channel, the channel we're on right now, is scrunched down nice and tight by YouTube's, you know, software. And I know this, I've seen it. I talked about it a little bit. The fact that I don't have leftists mad at me all the time proves that you really have to, this channel is pushed down, and only people, very likely, mostly people that are looking for this kind of content are going to find it. Now, occasionally I will get a leftist who likes the travel stuff, and they'll watch a few minutes of it, and then they'll leave a dirty comment, and then they'll, you know, I'll shoot it right back to them. That's my typical behavior. If you leave me a dirty comment, I'm going to shoot it right back to you. If you leave me a nice comment, I'll do the same thing. So but anyway, that's neither here nor there, and that doesn't apply to what I'm talking about. But YouTube gives themselves away, because if they were allowing channels to be fairly viewed, to be fairly judged by the viewer, not YouTube, I would have a lot more people on the left clicking my channel, because I don't usually put a political message on my title. Sometimes I do. And if, like I said, if my channel were just being out there, you know, anyone could click on it, I would get a lot of people mad at me, you know, all the leftists, because they like being, I mean, they really are incredibly vocal about stuff, which is something that we need to be more of, but they are over the top. We don't need to be that. We definitely don't need to be that. Some fresh rock fall here I'm seeing. We're going alongside a cliff. We're going alongside the Hogback, the Grand Hogback. Hope this guy gets ahead of me, because I'm going to speed up here pretty shortly. I'm trying to give him every opportunity to get ahead of me. And I will slow down a little bit. That ought to do it. If that doesn't do it, and I guess I'm just going to have to be a patient person and put up with him. So I'm not going to shoot him. I'm not going to run him off the road. I'm not going to call the cops on him. not going to hex them, you know. I'm not going to bully them. I'll just work around it. Last year, this is where the stop sign was. So just in case I start a video here, today is the 8th of April. It is about 20 till 7 in the morning. And I'm heading to Grand Junction. Okay, that ought to do it. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Well, yeah, they passed me anyway. So in case I'm just tuning in here, I'm kind of lost in my thoughts this morning. I've been filming all the way from Craig, but I might want to start the video. Might have, excuse me, I'm yawning. Might have started the video just a couple of minutes ago, sort of in between thoughts. So if I did that, good morning to you. Hope your day's good. This is a segment of road that I've never filmed. That's why I want to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing here. I want to test something out this morning. I listen to my videos before I put them out. So when you hear me going on and on and on about politics, I have listened to it. I said it, then I've listened to it probably 2 or 3 times. And it gets on my nerves. The way my delivery, the way that I get on a subject, and then I start calling the Democrats bad names, right? It's not, I don't like it. I think I can do better. And so today, this moment, I am introducing a new format. If I talk about politics, I'm going to figure this out as I go, but I want to be able to talk about something for a few minutes, make some points, understanding I don't have any team members or any other co-hosts, right, to share their thoughts on my thought. That's what I've got to work with, though. But I think I can work this out and make it a little better. And so the first thing that I wanted to mention, well, I over the weekend on X, I was pretty active. It's actually quite fun getting on X, and I think it's important to get on X. And I would recommend anybody who hasn't got on X, if you're a conservative, I think it's probably a good thing to get on X, even if you're not, don't buy into it, right? I bought into it because I felt like, hell, Elon bought into it with, probably a comparable portion of his income that it cost me to buy into it. because I spent like $80 on it for a year, right? Well, he spent $1 billion on it, and so now he's going to be getting a profit off of his, I would hope, off of his investment, but he made the investment. And the more important thing is that he has cleared up, I'm going to say 90% of the censorship. There's still a little bit of that stuff happening in a pretty mild manner, but I think it all needs to go. But I have the feeling that they're tweaking that. They're trying to work out the difference between censoring someone and warning somebody that their posts are. What they like to do on Twitter is they like to warn you if you use a nasty word or something. They'll say, most posters don't post like this. Are you sure you want to continue? Now, I don't even like that, because I've written what I want to post, and yes, I want to post it. There's never been a time when I said, no, I don't think I want to continue. So with that thought in mind, I don't know that they're actively censoring. I do know that the CEO, the lady that's running Twitter, is a pro-censorship lady. But she's working for an anti-censorship owner. I would assume that his say goes. But we'll see. I don't know. Add a little bit of in the mornings when we're around freezing, you can see there's snow and some frost out in the fields. I will go through places where there's like a pool of stagnant air, or maybe it hasn't moved for a while, or it's moved slower than other. It's colder, and it's demonstrably colder, because as I drive through it, the interior of the car will cool down. This is not a fancy computer controlled heater that looks at the incoming air and the outgoing air that tries to keep the outgoing air at a constant temperature. So if the air is colder outside, the heater's going to be cooler inside. And I feel that. So I kind of watch that. So I'm up and down with the heater. In the mornings, mainly. Yeah, in the mornings mainly. At night, I don't notice it as much. Anyway, I would recommend getting an account on Twitter and stating your opinion. I think it's really important. There are a lot of people doing it. It's becoming pretty popular. But it's also, I think, extremely important. We have got to, at the very least, push back against what's going on in our society. If you think government is broke, and you think you have opinions about that, you should get onto X, get an account. If you have a little bit of extra money, get verified, which means you're paying them some money, and set up an account and start commenting. I run into arguments occasionally, but it's mainly a good experience, and I'm seeing a lot more people that, like me, are concerned about the way the world is going. And they're not just from the States. They're from Canada. They're from Europe. They're from South America. They're from everywhere in the world, except maybe China. They do exist in China, but China has successfully censored, So we don't want that to happen. We need to push back. We need to be civil disobedience plus to these people that are stripping us of our rights. You do know that, in my opinion, the big guy behind the curtain is actually China, the CCP. I believe that they are the ones that are the big guys behind it. But I do think that the globalists and our government is working in parallel with these communist entities to destroy freedom. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. And so the first thing on my list is Elon Musk and the free speech dilemma that Elon Musk is facing because he is allowing freedom of speech on X. His purchase of X, other than the election of President Trump, Elon Musk's purchase of X, in my opinion, has been the most disruptive thing that has happened to the Uniparty, the Democrats, and the Communists. It has set them back considerably, and they're pissed. They hate Elon Musk now. Of course they hate Trump, because Trump was the first guy. He kicked the gates in 2016. And he's been paying for it ever since. Great thing about Trump, he's like a duck. Water just rolls, the trouble that he's in is like water, just rolls off his back. The guy, I admire Trump more every day. That guy is one tough son of a bitch. No offense to his mom. I'm saying that in entirely a complimentary fashion. He is one tough bastard. And I'm not saying that again. Not impugning his mom or dad. Trump is the real dude. He's the real guy. Trump is what, if you could bottle what the United States, the best of the United States of America could be, it would pretty much be Trump. We are somewhat rude people, Americans. We're somewhat aggressive. We are generous to a fault. Trump is. We are opinionated. I hope this isn't that Wyoming truck. Good. So, Trump is like the very most distilled best of America. We like women. Men like women. Women like men. If you want to do all that other stuff, that's fine. But in America, we understand reality. Men are attracted to women. Women are attracted to men. That's pretty much natural. Anything else is a little bit hinky in our minds. But it's up to you. If you want to do it, it's up to you. As long as it ain't illegal, go for it. But everything is permissible. Well, not everything is advisable. So there's a huge battle going on where the woke people, the deep state, and all of their shady pals are trying to take Musk down. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think Musk is as untouchable as Trump is. Now, that's not to say Trump is not going to be seeing more legal issues. Apparently, they're cooking up some bullshit for him in Arizona. And that's not to say that Musk isn't going to be hopping through legal hurdles, but, lawfare, really, let's call it what it is. It's illegal. It's lawfare. But these guys have got the ability to withstand it. And it's a damn good thing that they do. Because without Donald Trump and Elon Musk, we would be so much closer to the government that is ruling China today. It's scary to think of how much closer we would be. But think of the example of boiling the frog, where a frog's in cool water, the saying. You don't feel the heat as it slowly turns up until it's too late. Well, more than likely, if we were to look at that theory more practically, at some point you'd be going, I'm getting kind of hot. I think I'm going to get out of this. Still, I love the saying. It's a good saying. And that's what happens to us Americans. And for that matter, look at England, look at Ireland, look at Scotland. And by the way, I transposed on X a law that was enacted in Scotland. I thought it was being enacted in Ireland. And I made a couple posts about that. And thereby humbled myself to a few hundred people or more because they saw that post. That's okay. I'm not perfect. I make no bones about that. Right? Anyway. So that's an ongoing thing that we're going to be watching. We're going to watch how Trump can duck and dodge. I mean, like the boxer that he is when it comes to his political enemies. He is slippery, man. They can't pin him down. They think they got him, and then the press, they're all happy, and like MSNBC and CNN. I see clips of this from like on Tim Pool and Crowder and other people too. Wide Awake, Firebrand Media, Barry Cunningham. There are a lot of black commentators out there now. They're taking advantage of the YouTube policy of pushing minorities, which YouTube is doing. I find it really funny because these guys don't need to be pushed at all. The guys and girls, they're good. I mean, but I love what they're doing because they're sticking their finger in YouTube's eye by being a conservative talk show, a conservative channel, taking advantage of YouTube's version of DEI. And YouTube's version of DEI is white man bad. That's me. I'm white man. I'm bad. That's why I'm pushed out. But so it's nice to see there is a popularity surge in black conservatives speaking their minds. I don't know if YouTube understands what they've done, but I love it. I think it's great. They have showcased people that didn't need to be showcased, but that were certainly savvy enough to understand what was happening, and they took advantage of it to YouTube's detriment, to their political detriment, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, my voice just cracked. I guess I'm getting younger, right? So that's been a fun one to watch. And another little item that they've talked about is that we've got all these new jobs, right? Well, the Biden administration is lying about that. What we've got is an economy that is returning back to work, not new job creation. There are some new job creations, though, but they're all in the government. How many, you ask? What about 71,000 government jobs, according to this article? according to the headline of this article, which I wrote down, but I can't verify. However, it came off of Twitter. It was on the news feed, so I'm assuming it's going to be reasonably close. So we are at the summit, by the way. Beautiful. You can look down and see some really big mountains down south, right on the horizon. You might be able to see them. I mean, it's going to be barely visible, but those are probably some 14ers. They're probably around between Aspen and Paonia. Yeah, that's a pretty big area. I think that's the mountains that we're looking at the very back with a little tinge of clouds on top of them. But they're way back there. So the Biden administration is lying about job creation. They're being manipulative. The majority of the jobs that have come back, especially real jobs, not government jobs, although you get paid really good for your government job, but real jobs like manufacturing, where you're actually doing something, you're making something, you're not just herding sheep around, which is what a government job typically is. That's what we're seeing right now. The manufacturing sector, according to this report, 0 jobs added. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm a manufacturer. I haven't manufactured anything lately. I've done some bidding, but because the economy is so bad, every one of the bids I put in were met with shock and horror. And there's not much I can do about that because I have to buy the material that I fabricate with, right? It's also why I do this little driving job. Well, I love the drive, but it does give me a little extra money, you know. It's a nice way to keep a little bit of a few dollars rolling in when times are tough like they are now for my other job. Because it's pretty bad. In fact, I'm like bleeding money there because I'm investing in some of my own stuff. You know, and for me to invest in my own stuff, I'm basically buying material and making things. That's how I invest my money. So yeah, that's kind of a bullshit argument that the White House is making. And then another story I thought was interesting was in New York, I think this happened over the weekend. I got someone hauling ass behind me, coming up quick. A wrestler did something really horrible, right, for someone in New York. He actually attacked an attacker on the subway. Stopped this bad actor from carrying out his bad thing he was trying to do. A citizen did this. Now, if you're on the left, that is an absolute no-no. You do not do that. You let the cops do that, even if it takes an hour for them to show up. So, it's funny that that's becoming a newsworthy thing. Now, for you conservatives, I'm a conservative, who listen to my channel and myself, that is normal behavior for us. We are a lot more likely to help somebody out, to interfere, do what we can in a bad situation, like if there's an emergency. But apparently on the left, you don't do that, because if, for instance, if a person stops a crime, or say a bad guy with a gun, right? And a person has a gun and shoots that person, well, that sucks, because now that person who has actually probably saved lives or stopped a crime used an evil weapon. And that's what the left does not like. They do not like that. Now, there may be some regular people on the left that don't mind the idea of owning a firearm, but for the most part, if you're on the left, you drink their ideology down, and part of that ideology is hating. Hope this person passes me. Part of that ideology is hating guns. Guns are bad, okay? Mr. Mackey, guns are bad, okay? Yeah, that's what that is. So, that in turn turns what a conservative would consider to be a regular activity into this weird thing that people are writing stories about. That's kind of how this person can get around me now. Go. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Get. There they go. I'm doing a SCAD. A SCAD. It's a mathematical term for the legal speed under 70. I'm doing a SCAD under 70. Right here. So I found that to be an interesting story also. Oh, here's a good one. Good one. Now, we've all been paying attention to Biden trying to steal money from the government and give it to students to steal their vote, right? The student loan bailout. I think that's bullshit. I went to college. I got student loans. I paid them off. And I will say this, I went to college and I was a serious student. I wasn't a dumbass kid looking to party for 4 more years. So I'm glad this person's going around me. I'm going to be on their ass now. This is great, because now these guys are gonna be in front of me, basically guarding me from getting a ticket, because I'm just going to follow them down into Rifle on the speed they're going. Thanks, guys. So I better pop up a little bit. They're too far ahead of me. So I'm loving that. An appellate court, a federal appellate court, shut down the Biden administration's transfer of wealth from the poor people in our country and the regular people in our country to the probably mainly pampered, spoiled leftist college kids. I mean, that's what they're doing, though. They are buying off these kids, and that's somewhat, nowadays, that is somewhat of the promise of leftism, that they will buy you off if you become a leftist. And it starts right there. Go to college, and get a Pell Grant. But better than that, we'll start paying for all of your schooling. And then when you get out of college, you be a good leftist and vote Democrat so that we can continue taking over the country. But I mean, that's really what it is. It's a voter buying scheme. And I'm glad to see that an appeals court shut it down. It's rare nowadays when courts do the right thing. Look at what's going on with Trump. I mean, to go back to that, look at how many judges are corrupt and evil. There's not a judge, well, there might be one judge that isn't entirely corrupt at this point. Now we'll have to see what the Arizona bullshit is. I think that they're cooking up some sort of bullshit against Donald Trump in Arizona, which makes sense. If you've been following what's going on in Arizona, they have an illegitimate governor there. She stole the election last year. But anyway, I'm so happy that Biden yet again has not been able to steal our money, or has been at least blocked for a time being before stealing our money. So, and then this is another little headline that I think is it kind of goes with everything else I've been talking about. There have been a couple of people over the weekend that have made their opinions known about how they feel about Biden and Trump. So The Rock, over the weekend, The Rock said, if I regret supporting Biden. Buyer's remorse, I think, was the term I saw used. I'm going to go ahead and stop. Let's go ahead and put gas in the car here, I guess. So The Rock distanced himself from Biden. That was nice to see, because I like the movies that The Rock does, but again, I think it's too much to hope for that these Hollywood types have any kind of common sense. I think they're just more spoiled, pampered babies, really, because they get everything they want. Taylor Swift is one of those, in my opinion. But then the other person that spoke up today, this weekend, was Dean Cain, the old Superman guy. So I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to get gas here. I'm going to turn my headlights on. My turn signal off. I have a perpetual turn signal in this car. Anyway, I'll get back with you. If this becomes video, if you're driving somewhere, be careful. Take care. I'm going to do the same thing. I got a lot of driving today, and I want to get home tonight too. So take care. Talk to you later.